everybody. And before I begin, I just want to take a second to thank you all for being here today to celebrate something so absolutely incredible, the gift of life. As you all know, standing here during Donate Life Month is deeply personal for me and for my family. And when I look at that flag, I do see my family's story, but I also see thousands of other stories. Stories of hope, of waiting, of grief, and of incredible generosity. Every thread in that flag represents someone who made a decision that changed everything for someone else. And so today I want to invite you not just to hear my story, but to see yourself in it. If you don't know me, my name is Emily Greenwell. I'm a Mason County High School graduate and an advocate for organ donation and transplantation. My story began long before I was born, when my dad was 18 years old, when his father received a kidney transplant due to polycystic kidney disease. Growing up, that story was told often in our home, and I was always amazed that a stranger's decision was able to give my grandfather more time, more birthdays, more holidays, and most importantly, the chance to meet his grandchildren. As a little girl, I didn't fully understand the science behind transplantation. I didn't understand the medical terms or the process, but I understood this. Because someone said yes, I got more time. And time is something that we often take for granted until we're faced with the possibility of losing it. Years later, that same disease became part of my dad's story. What started as high blood pressure turned into declining kidney function. Doctor's appointments became routine as they were constantly changing medications. And finally, in November of 2020, he went active on the transplant list. And if you've never known someone on the transplant list, it's hard to explain exactly what that means, because it's not just a name on a list, but it's that person and that entire family living in a constant state of what if. What if we get the call today? What if we don't? And I remember the quiet shift in our home when that happened. The unspoken fear and the way that time suddenly felt fragile. Like if we didn't soak in every moment, it might slip between our fingers. Moments that felt ordinary suddenly felt significant. My dad driving me to school every morning, playing along with Chelsea's College of Hollywood Knowledge on the radio. Sitting at the dinner table talking about our days and watching TV together at night. Even the sound of my dad's voice suddenly carried a different weight. And our number one goal was to avoid dialysis, and the best chance of that was finding a living donor. So we did everything we could. My mom truly did everything. Because when someone you love is waiting, you don't worry about being uncomfortable or putting yourself out there. You just try. You ask and you hope. And during that waiting season, I felt called to do more. As a 15-year-old girl, I felt powerless in the situation that we'd found ourselves in. And that's when I found Student Organ Donation Advocates. And in 2021, I founded the first SODA chapter in the state of Kentucky at Mason County High School. What started as a way to help my dad became something bigger. I spoke at community events, organized fundraisers, and I even organized a flag raising just like this one back in 2021. And through all that work, I started to realize something important. So many people support organ donation, but they don't always understand it. Some people think they're too old. Some people think their health disqualifies them, which that is absolutely untrue. Some people are simply unsure, and no one has ever taken the time to explain it to them. Sometimes people assume that if they say yes, doctors won't try as hard to save their lives, which is also untrue. Medical teams and transplant teams are completely separate entities, and their number one priority will always be to save your life. And I say all that because those misconceptions matter. They can be the difference between someone saying yes or saying no. The truth is, one donor can save up to 8 lives and heal dozens more through tissue donation. And that one decision can ripple that extends beyond what we can even imagine. But at the end of the day, advocacy alone wasn't enough. We were still waiting for someone to say yes. And finally, someone did. In 2022, my dad received his life-saving kidney transplant because of his selfless living donor named Heather, who's here with us today. Her and my parents knew each other, but not closely, and it almost felt too good to be true, because how could someone that I had never even met feel so compelled to help our family? Months and months of prayers had finally been answered. And now Heather's anything but a stranger. She's family. March 14th is our own national holiday, and each year since that hope-filled day back in 2022, our families have come together to celebrate our kidneyversary. And those celebrations aren't just about a surgery. They're about life. They're about second chances. And they're about everything that almost didn't happen, but did, because of one person's courage. Because of Heather, I have 3 more years with my dad. 3 more years of rolling my eyes at his jokes. 3 more years of adventures. 3 more years of hearing him tell me how proud he was of me. 3 more years of everyday memories that become priceless when you realize that they weren't guaranteed after all. On April 14th of last year, exactly 3 years and 1 month after his transplant, my dad passed away in a tragic accident. And there are no words to fully describe that kind of loss. His story ended much, much too soon. Our story ended too soon. But I know one thing with absolute certainty, and that's that without organ donation, I could have lost him 3 years earlier, and the time that we did have left would have likely been spent hooked up to a dialysis machine. Grief has a way of changing you. It reshapes your perspective. It makes you hold tighter to what matters and let go of what doesn't. And in my grief, I found an even deeper sense of purpose, because I know just how much those 3 years meant to me, to my mom, to all of my dad's closest friends and family. So no, my dad won't be here to see me graduate college next month or start my career. He won't walk me down the aisle. And those are the moments that I will forever wish that we were able to share. But because of Heather, we had so many more vacations together. He was there to watch me graduate high school and move me into college. And if you've ever moved an 18-year-old girl into college, you know that you need all the hands you can get. And those moments matter. They matter more than I could ever put into words. Organ donation did not just extend his life, but it changed mine. It shaped who I am, it gave me purpose, and it showed me the impact that one person can have, not just on an individual, but on an entire family. I've seen the fear that comes with waiting, but I've also seen the miracle of a match. And I've lived the reality that one person's decision can ripple through generations. And that ripple, it doesn't stop. It continues in the lives we go on to live, in the people we go on to impact, and the stories that we continue to tell. And that's why I stand here today. Not everyone can be a living donor, but every single one of us in this room has the power to say yes to organ donation at the end of our life. And that decision doesn't cost a penny. It doesn't take any time away from your life, but it can give everything to someone else. That registration is not just a check mark on a license, but it's hope, it's time, it's more birthdays, more holidays, more dad jokes that elicit an eye roll from a teenage daughter. Somewhere tonight, a family will sit at a kitchen table praying for the call. Somewhere a daughter will pray for more time with her dad. And maybe, just maybe, that family could be impacted by someone in this very room today. Someone sitting here who has the power to change everything with a single decision. Right now, there are over 100,000 people in the United States alone waiting for a transplant. And that's not just a number, that's people, it's families, and it's stories still being written.